Lyme disease does not discriminate when it comes to age, race, and gender. But it does appear that certain groups are at a higher risk. The highest reported rates of Lyme disease are in children, 2 to 15 years old. Lyme infection in children manifests in much the same way as it would in adults, with possible rashes, fever, headaches, fatigue, as well as muscle and joint aches. But in kids, it can be misdiagnosed as growing pains, the flu, or even ADHD. If the disease goes untreated for weeks or months, the bacteria could move from the bloodstream into bodily tissues.
Chloe's case is so bad that it has affected her organs. You know, if you screw up the organs, where does that leave you for the future if your organs are destroyed at 14?
Tiffany Goddard and her daughter Chloe live in Pocomoke City, Maryland. Both of them have been infected with Lyme disease. Of their family of 9, 4 have tested positive so far.
It's really bad here on the shore. In our own yard just this week, 2 of the kids got ticks just in her yard. We don't know a single family in like our neighborhood or our town that doesn't have somebody who has gotten Lyme disease.
The Goddards believe Chloe was infected with Lyme when she was 11. She is still being treated for chronic Lyme symptoms at 14.
It's especially hard with pediatrics because there are not very many Lyme specialists that treat children. When she was first diagnosed, we had to go almost 3 hours away to find a doctor that would even treat a child. It's very expensive. And of course, it's worth it. You can do whatever you need to do.
Chloe's symptoms were so bad at one point, she was hospitalized twice.
Her heart was doing, not beating regularly. She was struggling to breathe. You couldn't leave her at all.
Chloe's story is a lot like the stories of other children suffering from chronic Lyme symptoms, formerly active children.
Before I got sick, I was black belt, sports, soccer, and played multiple instruments. I was a very energetic kid.
Our once healthy, strong varsity athlete full of life and excitement was now unable to function, wheelchair-bound and bedridden.
They did well in school.
On Chloe's behalf, even though she misses so much school, she still stayed on track.
So you study at home?
Yeah, straight A student.
Kids that liked to play outdoors.
I used to pull ticks off like they were nothing, like, oh, look, tick, poo, and not think a thing about it.
Which is why parents say the change comes as such a shock. Fatigue, constant pain, lack of focus. But one of the worst symptoms? Isolation. Kids with chronic Lyme symptoms are forced to come to grips with an illness many don't understand, and some doctors don't even acknowledge exists.
They don't know that there are other children out there who are just like them. So anytime we can, we hold events and we try to get the kids together, and it's so heartwarming to see these kids find other kids and make that connection so they're not alone anymore.
NatCap Lyme and the Lyme Disease Association of Delmarva coordinate support groups for teens and young adults, as well as their parents and caregivers. This one meets on the first Monday of every month in Salisbury, Maryland. We met Chloe and Tiffany at one of these meetings.
It's amazing because you can't really talk to anyone else about it because they don't understand. So when you come to these meetings, it's kind of just like this sigh of relief, like they know what you're going through and you can talk about it and they understand completely, and you can have like, oh, you have that symptom too? Me too. And it's just like this kind of funny connection.
It's good to talk to other moms who've gone through it.
And outside of the support groups, now more parents and their kids are taking their stories to legislators. These teens testified in Annapolis about the need for better diagnostic tests.
I was tested for Lyme multiple times, and each time I was told I didn't have it. I didn't know the tests were inaccurate, and I'm not sure my doctors did either. I
need to do that. I need to do something to help change it, because you can't go through that and not want to do something about it. It's life-shattering.
Although Lyme disease is now a major topic of legislative discussion, there are still the many other tick-borne illnesses that aren't getting as much attention. After a quick break, we'll introduce you to locals who say they are allergic to everyday things, all because of a tick bite.